So I manage a national team of coffee trainers. I also look after blend development, making sure that our customers get the right coffee for the demographic of customer that they're serving.
My new role as a consultant, I think it sounds a bit odd when you say consultant. It makes you feel like you just tell people what they should make. I meet a lot of my customers. I talk about what their needs are for their business, like UCC Coffee. I'm an ambassador, I'm one of their chef ambassadors, and we work together to explore the similarities in the relationship between food and coffee and how they work well together.
Well, working with Sarah Hartnett has been a real sort of eye-opener for us as a coffee company, because she's brought a huge amount of experience to understand flavours, and it's really helped us to identify within our coffees, within the roast profiles that we have, which coffees suit which customer demographic best. So one of the interesting things working with Sarah, who comes from a restaurant background, is that coffee is quite often the last part of the process, and more often than not it's a disappointing experience. So it kind of overshadows what's been a fantastic experience, fantastic food. But fundamentally, coffee is just an ingredient using a cooker that needs to be prepared correctly. So the thing that I'm enjoying doing, working with Sarah, is bringing that knowledge into restaurants so that it's looked and viewed in the same way as the food that's being served before that coffee.
When I'm tasting coffees to match with the dessert, we look at the flavour profile first of the coffee. So ask the coffee experts. They're all very unique, they all have a different profile depending on the roast and depending on the origins of the coffee. But focusing really on the roast and what kind of notes you should expect from a light roast, from a medium roast and from a dark roast. They're completely different, and like when you have desserts and cakes and pastries that you're making in a kitchen, you would go for something very bright and very fruity, something that's got a little bit more sugar, a little bit fruity still, and then for a dark roast you would probably have something that's quite intense and a bit deeper in flavour.
So the roasting process, which is integral when it comes to coffee experience, is basically taking the seed of a cherry and cooking it. Now, there are 3 defined stages in roast: light, medium and dark. And that's light has been cooked, partially cooked, medium cooked a little longer, dark roast cooked to the end. Working
with UCC and coffee, I've learned a huge amount in the last year and a half, and it's been really interesting because it's not something I'd really thought so much about before. Everyone likes coffee. I mean, I love coffee, but the different roast profiles and the different flavourings that come out of coffee are really interesting when you really focus and taste them individually.
Well, one of the key things with coffee is we often focus on the wrong things. We focus on the price of the coffee, we focus on the origin of the coffee and some romantic story of where it's come from. But actually, before we even get to that point, we need to identify what roast profile is going to suit the customers that we're going to be serving. A light roasted coffee is acidic and quite often deemed sour by a lot of people who drink it. A medium coffee becomes sweeter, more balanced, and a dark roasted coffee is obviously the sugars have caramelized, so you get those darker, more comforting notes.